So the Wheelie Good Podcast is back once again, and today's stage we're riding up all volcanoes, which makes sense because the race erupted from the start.
Nice.
Yeah, I practiced that.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said absolutely volcanic tempo from the breakaway early on, but that's a bit too easy. Erupted was the better pun in that.
Exactly.
Those two.
Yep.
Either way, we are on stage 10, and everybody is due a well-deserved rest because this is the hardest stage of the first week. It is to Le Mont d'Or Super Sol C, 166 kilometers.
Oh yes.
Approximately, realistically, it probably felt like 266.
Oh yeah.
Because we've never had this many Category 2 climbs in any stage of the Tour de France before.
Ooh, never.
This is the most... I'm going for informativity.
Okay.
That's not a word on this podcast.
It works.
But yeah, the most Category 2s ever on a Tour de France stage. 7 in total, 1 Category 3. But we finish on a Category 2 climb, 3.3 kilometres, 7.7%. But in all honesty, the most enjoyable part of the race for me was early on because we saw a breakaway go and it was huge.
Yes, and it was a big fight to get up there. We heard a bunch of names, some of them who didn't make the final one, like Skillmost, unfortunately, who was my pick yesterday. Didn't make the final breakaway, but yes, it just exploded from the start. Everyone wanted to be part of it. They knew at this stage, screamed breakaway, and it delivered very well on that part.
Yeah, we had all sorts of riders up the road, the likes of Alaphilippe, Nylands, etc. Both of those guys missed it, but 30 riders around that went up the road today, and instantly, if you're a Tour de France player, you know that 30 riders up the road, that breakaway is not getting caught.
Oh yeah.
And it had plenty of big names in every team, pretty much, bar UAE and Cofidis. So a great Bastille Day for them on the French national holiday. They're going to be absolutely crucified in the team bus.
For sure.
They had riders. Everybody had riders up the road bar those two teams, and that's off the top of my head as well. And big riders were in there, including notably GC hopeful Ben Healy. But you had other very important GC riders who are out of the picture.
Yes.
So like Ben O'Connor, for example. You had riders such as Timo Ahrensman, who I think came into this being Ineos' co-leader, but that's kind of any Ineos leader's gone at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Simon Yates of Visma Lease Bike.
Oh, yes.
Who was thrown into the breakaway. And we saw Visma trying to get many riders up the road. Wout Van Aert tried. He was chased down. But for a moment, at the start of this stage, I thought UAE were going to somehow get this back.
Yeah, they were pacing extremely hard. And they kept the gap at 20, 30 seconds for like a very long time. And we were both thinking like, surely, but like, are they going to pace for that hard for that long? But they were keeping it for, I don't even know how many kilometers. But eventually, finally, thank goodness, they eased up on the pacing. They were still pacing, but they eased up a little bit and slowly the breakaway, go its way. And I think I mentioned a lot of times, I'm just going to toot my own horn here, that I wish we were going to do something this stage, put riders up in the breakaway. I did say Wout Van Aert and Kampenarts, but it was Yates and Kampenarts. It still counts. And they did indeed throw 2 riders up there. And they sort of did a similar strat to what I was thinking, with, maybe one going for the stage run, to take bonus seconds, and one Kampenarts, namely going back and helping in the peloton. They did do that part a little bit too late, though, because once they reached the penultimate climb, Kampenarts came back. At that point, there's not much you can do really to surprise Tadej on the final climb. But I think the fight counts.
Yes, and I think there were a couple of bits of TLC probably that I should go over super quick. 2 did not start today. George Zimmerman, who looked incredibly banged up yesterday on Intermarché 1T. Quite frankly, I'm surprised he started the previous stage. And Marijn van den Berg, so that's EF Education Easy Post sprinter, gone. But I'm sure they won't really care too much, as we'll get to later in this pod.
Yeah.
And early on in the stage, we saw Søren Verenskjold from Uno X Mobility get off the bike and withdraw from the race. Now, when we're recording this is before the sprinters have come in. So perhaps when we get to green jersey conversation, they might have come in by that point. But I reckon with the way this race went, and with 29 riders up the road, there might be a chance for a little bit of OTL action at the end of today's stage. I don't know what the exact amount you've got to stay in with is.
No.
Let me just check on PCS.
Yeah, because we saw at least go to my hang on for a decent amount of time, or at least longer than Sivakov from UAE, who somehow fell behind pretty much instantly. I feel like the UAE team was sort of falling apart here. I mean, Tadej was sitting alone for the most part. He had to respond to Jürgensen himself, which is a bit troublesome there.
Yeah, time limit today is 44 minutes. And as you mentioned, Pavel Sivakov was instantly in trouble. And he did not look himself. There was rumours that Almeida was feeling sick before he had his injury. Yeah. So perhaps a bug may be going around the UAE Team Emirates camp, which is going to be difficult to manage, certainly on a rest day when they're all in the hotel together and in rooms.
Yep.
But Sivakov was off the back pretty quickly. Geraint Thomas, Ineos, was off the back fairly quickly too. I'm sure he will have a classic post-stage interview moan about how the young folk are doing too much these days. As the classic old man of the peloton. Yep. But it was a big day for a couple of fantasy names. You had a couple of guys in the break, I believe. I had a couple of guys in the break.
Almiral tried early on. He was in it for a little bit, but it seems only about 80 kilometers or so. So that's it, really. That's my entire team. I basically got no points.
Right, okay. So Armour being there was proof that lots of teams had multiple riders, and some of these teams were working clearly for one rider in particular. One of which was EF. They got 3 riders up the road, and they were 3 very good riders. It was Harry Sweeney, actually 4. Harry Sweeney, Alex Baudin, Nielsen Paulus, and Ben Healy. And I initially thought, Healy's been in the break before, he might be a bit cooked. Nielsen Paulus could go crazy on this stage.
Yep.
And lo and behold, Nielsen Paulus was the first one to drop. So all the eggs were in Ben Healy's baskets. And Harry Sweeney and Alex Baudin are MVPs of the day, I think, because they kept the gap high along with many of the other domestiques, but it was a tough one to get away. UAE Team Emirates, for some reason, kept this below 2 minutes for a long, long time.
Yep, a long time. I had something on my mind, but I forgot.
Oh, wait.
It's not coming back. It's not going to... Just say something.
All of this time that EF were pacing on the front, we had many mini attacks, and this made me incredibly happy. A certain somebody gambled by making Lenny Martinez their captain today.
Yeah.
And he was one of 3 of my team that went into the breakaway with Aurelian Peripantra and Velasco. Lo and behold, what did I tell you? We've got one guy interested in King of the Mountains points. We've got a breakaway of 29, and only one of them wants King of the Mountains points. Actually, Michael Woods and Johannesson kind of did at the start.
A little bit, yeah.
But Lenny Martinez expended so much energy going for King of the Mountains points that, quite frankly, he had locked up. And I appreciate the effort, but he probably could have saved himself a lot, because he was sprinting all out for every single climb.
He did not need to do that. Like, even like he could look behind him. No one was like looking like they wanted to attack. He looked behind several times. Like, one of the climbs, he was in front while he just attacked a little bit, and then he attacks again at the end. Like, brother, no one cares. Just take him. Take the points. I mean, he still finished well, but he could have probably finished a little bit faster, honestly.
Yeah, it's the energy he used up. He could have possibly saved to stay in the breakaway for longer.
Yeah.
to say the least. But he will come away with the King of the Mountains jersey. He took loads of the early climbs and eventually ended up fading away because it was a battle of who was the strongest. And we got to a point, gradually riders were going off, and you had a couple of attacks, the likes of Quinn Simmons, Ben Healy, etc. Healy tried the same thing again, as if nobody was gonna, everybody was just gonna do the same thing and just let him go, because he's definitely not got history.
No,
Ben O'Connor followed, Quinn Simmons followed, Michael Storer followed. It was the most obvious attempt at doing the same thing again. So they've cottoned on to Ben Healy's strats now.
Yeah, I mean, to be expected, apparently he attacked on a section, at least the commentator said, the Danish one said, that he attacked on a section where you shouldn't attack, but that's also typical Ben Healy.
That sounds incredibly Ben.
So that's what happened there. And I think the final battle for the stage one was both, of course, who was stronger, but also who was smarter. Because a certain someone didn't really attack at all. He didn't pace at all. He was just sitting at the back. And that man is Simon Yates. I don't think
he
barely did anything in the breakaway, honestly. He was just sitting most of the time at the back and chilling. And then we didn't exactly see when he escaped. It didn't show on TV. But we saw had a gap. Apparently, maybe in the city, he had gotten a little bit ahead. And then right at the bottom of the climb, he just fully sent it and got a pretty decent gap. Of course, he got caught again, but he clearly had the better legs.
Yeah, over the final climb, Victor Campenaerts had done his job, Alex Bourdin had done his job, and it was down to like the main guys. And the two riders who were at the back putting in the least effort were Simon Yates and Thibaut Arensman of Ineos Grenadiers.
Yep.
And lo and behold, Simon Yates attacks just before the start of Le Mont d'Or. And actually, they were all leaning on Ben Healy, because I think it got to a point where Ben Healy realised there's a chance at the jersey here. The gap had gone out to sort of beyond 5 minutes, nearly 6. And his sights clearly changed. It was a complete switch. And the rest of the breakaway knew it too. They were all sitting on his wheel. It was a fun one to watch. Just one guy pulling a whole breakaway. Yeah,
he basically took like the tactics out of the final part of it, pretty much. Because he was just pacing all the way, so there was no slowing down and looking at each other. It was just him pacing all the way. If you were to guess, when did you think it changed, or you think he was meant to try and go for the yellow jersey the entire time?
I think it's hard to say, because UAE seemed like they really wanted to keep the jersey.
Yeah.
They had Pollitt pacing on the front most of the day. Then they handed over to Wellens, who did a hard turn, and Soler was absolutely cooked by the time he'd finished.
Yep.
Had they had Sivakov on a fully fit, fully formed Sivakov, maybe they'd keep the jersey. But that's another question for another day, because Healy ends up getting it done. But he does not win the stage, because attack to Simon Yates.
Yep.
And Ben O'Connor initially was the only rider that could follow the acceleration.
It was indeed. And Yates even gave him a little take the lead. Go on. Baited him a little bit. He took the lead. And then Arensman caught up. As soon as Arensman caught up, Yates just went for it. And O'Connor was cooked. He was cooked. Arensman just keeping the pace all the way, trying to pace himself. Which I think shows that Yates did a couple accelerations at the end. And Arensman just kept the pace, which might show that Yates in general just had better legs, because if he had paced himself as well, would have been a different story. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say with this.
It was a good ride from Arensman.
It was.
To be fair.
I thought he was going to catch him, honestly. At the end.
I thought he tactically played it really well, and in the end had good legs. But Simon Yates, I think, was just too good. And if there was any sign that his form is continuing off the back of this Giro win, I think this is it. He wins the stage, ends up riding away 9 seconds ahead of Thibaut Arensman. And then from the top rope, Ben Healy overtakes Ben O'Connor and Michael Storer on the final climb to finish 31 seconds down. And then the clock started, and we looked back. And there was plenty of movement in the GC group. We saw some weird, wacky, at occasional times, baffling Visma Lease bike strategies. But they tried many things.
Try a lot of things, especially Jorgensen attacking again and again. And eventually Tadej just had enough. It was like, nah, I can't. I'm just going to do it myself at this point. I was really hoping Vingegaard would try something at the end, but no. He at one point he took his hands into the bottom handles, and I was like, yes, do it. And he just sat there. So, man, but definitely an interesting strategy from his. Do you think that they broke him down a little bit throughout the stage, or do you think Tadej was following pretty easily with Jorgensen's many attacks?
I don't know. I mean, for context, this all started on the, I'm going to call it the third to last climb.
Yes.
Because there's the final category 2, then there's the penultimate category 2, and then there's a little like 2.3% kilometers at 7.8%, which actually should be a climb in itself, because that's pretty difficult. But it was an uncategorized rise. And we saw Sepp Kuss and Jorgensen pacing on the front. Oh no, Sepp Kuss and Benoot. And both of them went off the front. Oscar only followed, and they were like, okay, yeah, sure, let's go for it. Benoot actually sets up Sepp Kuss for an attack. And I think the plan from Visma was pretty clear of get Sepp Kuss to attack, get Jorgensen to attack up to Sepp Kuss, and then try and gain time with Jorgensen while Jonas sat on the back. And it felt like there was a plan B, but at the same time, once plan B was done, they were kind of a bit clueless, it seemed. Yeah. Because you had... Initially, I thought, they're trying to isolate Pogacar and get him to follow, which I think was what they were doing with the Jorgensen moves, because initially it was Yates that closed it for UAE, not the one, obviously, that would go on to win the stage. Adam Yates was the one to close it. So I thought, okay, now they're going to try and get rid of Yates and make sure that Pogacar's got no teammates, so Pogacar chased the moves. And they did on the second to last climb. When Jorgensen attacked, Pogacar followed. And you saw Narvaez and Yates go off the back. And I was like, okay, this is going to be where they do the 1-2. Jonas attacks, Jorgensen attacks. Pogacar's going to have to follow. Remco's going to sit in and, let him follow all these moves. Yeah. And it just didn't happen. And I don't think they'd bargained for that plan, or they were going for that plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe if it was a longer climb and a final climb, I feel like they might have tried it. But maybe Jonas just wasn't feeling it, because it seems like a no-brainer to do that. At least with Jonas going for one attack, trying to get away. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't see any attacks from the Vingegaard himself.
Do you think today Visma played it safe or not? I think it's so hard to work it out, because they clearly thrown riders into the break and they've come away with a stage win, but it still feels a little bit too that they're not going all in, which I think they shouldn't do on stage 10, but I expected a little bit more given the situations that they found themselves in.
I think they played it safe in terms of Vingegaard, and with Jorgensen, I think the plan might have been for him to get up to Kuss and to then somehow get further away so that Tadej doesn't catch him, and then Kamranich is up in front as well. That he will call him back, and at that point that would be a really good position. So I think the plan was just to get Jorgensen further in the GC. They weren't really planning on actually tying out Tadej, is what it looks like anyways from what they've been doing. So yeah, technically that's definitely playing it safe, I think.
What we did find, though, was that the big loser on the climb was Kevin Vauquelin. It was the first time he'd been dropped by the rest of the GC guys. The likes of Onley managed to stick with it. For some reason, Jordan Gilliat of Total Energy was clinging on to the back of the Pogacar group throughout these repeated accelerations and antics from Visma Lease bike. But in the end, they got over the climb. Everything was closed up. And Visma just kind of stopped at that point. I think they kind of decided that they'd used up all the bullets that they wanted to. and Pogacar seemingly responded to everything.
Yeah.
And you had that period of calm down the descent again, where Victor Campenaerts was just leading the group down, and everybody's mind started turning to Healy again. Because at the foot of the climb, it looked super close.
Yes.
And then when Pogacar attacked midway through the final climb, I thought, okay, maybe Pogacar does want to be in yellow.
Yeah.
After all, and Jonas was the only one to follow again. A Pogacar acceleration on steep gradients.
Yeah, it looked like like for a couple of seconds, it looked like he lost the wheel, but he was just looking back, and I was like, "Oh, please no!" But I think he was just looking back. I mean, he held on, so I assume that's what happened. But yes, the only one to follow.
Yeah, he did the exact same thing, really, as stage 2, was it? When he looked back and no, stage 4, I think, because that was the one that Pogacar won.
Oh yeah.
When he looked back and I was like, oh, is he gone? And then he gets back to the wheel. I don't know whether this is a new Jonas thing, seemingly.
Maybe
maybe this is some
scheme.
Crazy tactic.
Yeah, they looked at it in like the wind tunnel. Okay, if you look back for a second and you drop some back, you're going to gain some watts later on the tour. Oh yeah.
But what was more crazy than the crazy tactic was after having, I think, what was a nosebleed during the stage, because we didn't see him go down and he had blood on his arms. He had a nosebleed, but from the rear of Pogacar and Vingegaard came Lenny Martinez, of all people.
Oh yeah,
who was caught by Pogacar and Vingegaard on the acceleration. And I think that was a sign of how slow they were going.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy Martinez, who clearly totally cooked himself.
Same.
And had been cooked. He was blowing up for a good 25 kilometers.
Yeah.
And his head was bobbing all over the place. And Pogacar and Vingegaard were just in the saddle.
Yeah.
Probably going at I
guess
a solid zone 3 ride.
Yeah,
just
very
chilling.
chill. Very chill. I think Tadej was... It looked like he was speaking to Jonas to begin with, after his initial attack when he started slowing down, warning Jonas to pace, I would assume. But clearly none of them care about anyone else. Well, aside from Jorgensen. They don't care about Remco. Remco attacked at some point. Tadej didn't care one bit. And only attacked. Also, none of them cares at all. So, I mean, that could be something that Remco maybe in the future could, use to his advantage. Because they really don't care.
I am going to have a bit of a moan at stage direction here, because Remco attacked at the foot of the climb, and it looked like Onley was following, and then it switched to Michael Storer going over the line for 5th place on the stage behind Ben O'Connor.
Yes.
And the next moment, it cuts back and everyone's back together. So I need to know who chased that down. Was it Tadej?
Same.
Was it somebody else in the GC favourites, the likes of the Bora guys? Both Roglic and Lipovic were there. But in the end, the GC was very, very bunched together.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, once again, though, Lipovic finishing in front of Roglic. Just wanna point that one out. Finishing a good, a couple of seconds in front of him, but a couple of seconds nonetheless.
Yeah, to round off the top 10, it was Blackmore 6th for Israel Premier Tech, 3:57 behind the eventual winner Simon Yates. Then Anders Johannesson, 4:38. Lenny Martinez at 4:51. That completes the breakaway, guys. And Pogacar and Jonas did not even sprint, which I think says a lot about what they think of the others, because that allowed them to probably get back easy 20 seconds in the final sort of 200 meters. Yeah. And if we're including the Lenny Martinez on the front period, then it was probably even more than that. Pogacar and Jonas finishing with Martinez on 4:51. Then 3 seconds behind was Lipovic and Jorgensen. Remco Evenepoel 6 seconds behind Pogacar and Jonas.
Yeah.
And slightly further were the likes of Felix Gall, Carlos Rodriguez, Kevin Vauquelin losing 5:31 to Simon Yates, which is 40 seconds on Pogacar and Jonas. So he is the big loser at the end of this stage.
Yeah.
But no, not big GC gaps. I was kind of hoping with the Pogacar attack that there'd be more than there was.
Do you think Jonas didn't want to pace because of Jorgensen purely? Because like if Jorgensen got 30 seconds further behind, then he's hitting a bit, getting a bit far away.
I think there's that, and there's the fact that opens Pogacar up to attack again from behind using the draft.
And you probably can't. I mean, he probably knows you can't drop him anyways on this kind of climb. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I still want to see it, though. I still want to see it.
Yeah, I think we were somehow, despite all of the strategies, we were very close to a Visma bike perfection.
Yep.
Whereby on a typically Pogacar stage, this looks super, Tadej, the shorter climbs, the punchier efforts. If Jorgensen and Vingegaard lost no time to him, that would have been the perfect possible scenario. And we were 3 seconds away from seeing that happen. Does Pogacar feel a little bit disheartened? Yes, he's lost the jersey, which I think he probably wanted to do.
Yeah.
But he's not dropped Jonas, and he's only put 3 seconds into Jorgensen.
Yeah.
Who seems to still be a threat.
Indeed. Maybe a little bit, honestly. I mean, we've seen, if we go to the GC real quick, we can see Jonas is around a minute and 20 roughly away from Tadej. And with all the stages to come, all the mountains to come, he hasn't gained... I mean, he's gained some time, purely because of the time trial, to be fair. But not on any of these kind of stages that really suits him. He hasn't really gained anything aside from the bonus seconds. So I think he might be a bit frustrated or disappointed with that outcome. Especially considering that Jonas can actually gain like quite a lot of time back on the next time trial. I'm just saying... Remember that 1 year where he gained like a minute and a half on a time trial? I just want to point out. Anyways, so yeah, I think he's a bit disappointed with that part of it.
Yeah, so this all means, speaking of GC, that Ben Healy is taking yellow. 29 seconds ahead of Pogacar, 1 minute 29 ahead of Remco. So actually Pogacar's nearest quote-unquote challenger is already a minute down after 10 not so difficult stages.
Yep.
I think he's done his job, and I think he'll be pleased with his week or 10 days of racing.
Yes.
I think what he won't be pleased with is the lack of team that he's going into the second week with.
Oh, yeah.
I think Pavel Sivakov is going to have to improve super quick over the next couple of days, because it's going to be mountain stage after mountain stage soon, and that is going to hurt the legs.
Yes, and if you know Visma Leaser bike, right? Jesus, they got plans. They're cooking. I mean, this was close to a perfect, like you said, stage for him, especially with the stage one as well. And I don't think they're done. They're planning this down to the smallest minute detail. And if Tadej doesn't have a team, I think he will be in quite some trouble, because at that point, Remco might also jump in and go with a couple of attacks like we've seen. And I think he's gonna go into that team bus and be like, guys, step up, please. he's gotta say something.
Yeah. Jonas is 1 minute and 1 minute and 17 behind Pogacar, and Jorgensen is 1 minute 37. Those are the time gaps you need to know between Pogacar and the two Visma bike boys. Vauquelin drops to 6th, and I think this is the start of a gradual decline for Kevin Vauquelin in the GC. Might he be able to hold his top 10 at the end? Perhaps, but this is not a good sign for Mr. Vauquelin, is it?
No, he had a good run. I mean, slowly see Lipovic, Roglic holding that there. I think they'll both overtake him, to be honest. And only still holding it pretty much down on 10 seconds. Wait, no, that was a little 1 minute behind, roughly. So yeah, well, the question is, do you think, because then it would have to be either Johannesson or Felix Gall, Rodriguez, Mas who would have to overtake him. You think they can do that?
I think if I'm Arkea B&B Hotels, I'm trying to get Vauquelin into breakaways at this point. Because seemingly enough, based on the way this stage was raced, Pogacar only cares about Jonas and Jorgensen.
Yeah.
And although he cares about wearing the yellow jersey, I don't think he cares about letting other people rise in the jersey. And also, I think we're now at a point where the likes of Onley, who is just under a minute behind Kevin Vauquelin on 2:20. Vauquelin's on 2:26. Onley's just over a minute behind him, just under. So I say Lipovic and Roglic are just over a minute behind him. I don't think they really care about Kevin Vauquelin at the moment. I think they see him as a lost cause, and is just going to gradually move down the GC. So I think if they want to keep Vauquelin in general classification hunt top 10, they're going to have to put him into a breakaway, I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the other teams reacting to it now that he's been proved to lose time on the first serious mountain day of the race. But Johannesson slips up into the top 10, Gal in 11th, Carlos Rodriguez 12th, Mas 13th. Not so great day after a good start to his Tour de France. Those guys are probably chomping at the bit to get into the top 10.
Yep. And speaking of hunting, points has been hunted this stage. Lenny Martinez has only gone and got himself in the lead. 27 points. Disgusting behavior, by the way. Disgusting behavior. And someone will be a bit happy about that, I think, potentially. Even though he didn't win the stage. But it should give some points for the fantasy team.
Well, I think you are a sick individual if you don't enjoy the Lenny Martinez story. I am going to get a bit serious on the pod for the first time in a while. Martinez's grandfather is a former mountain bike world champion, and he is in a battle with his eyesight. Basically, he's going blind, and the reason this isn't the reason that I picked him for King of the Mountains to begin with. I didn't know this until the race began. The reason that Martinez was so active early on, and especially in the stage that wasn't really a mountain stage, that saw him in the breakaway with the likes of Abrahamson and Asgreen, was because his goal was to be in the King of the Mountains jersey before his granddad went blind, so he could see his grandson wearing a distinctive jersey at the Tour. So, yeah, you are a sick individual if you don't enjoy Lenny Martinez's in the King of the Mountains jersey, and I hope he can keep it for as long as he possibly can. I think he has the ability, though, and we saw this today, to properly cook himself by chasing these. He needs to be reined in by Bahrain Victorious.
Yeah, man. Oh, that makes it so much better, actually.
Yeah, everybody enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it a little bit more because I had him as captain of my fantasy team. He now leads the points classification by 11 points from Healy, and a grand total of 16 from Michael Woods in third. Those were the only two guys who really... Well, Healy wasn't even interested. Woods was, but Healy, by being in the breakaway, I guess, has just moved himself up in that regard. So... Martinez, Healy, Woods, top three. Wellens drops to fourth and concedes the jersey. That's all you really need to know, I think, because nobody else seemingly got involved. Johannesson took a vague interest early on, but then moved on with his life after that. Yep. And what that does for my fantasy, as I refresh my page here, is make me incredibly cheesed, because Lenny Martinez picked me up 465 points today.
Disgusting.
As captain
Disgusting.
of the team. Which is far more than any of my other breakaway riders that were in the move because of those lovely King of the Mountain points and him finishing 8th on the stage. How about yours? Because your team is a little more rounded, I'd say, than mine.
Rounded, yeah. We have Vingegaard, who finished decently in the stage with the stage winning bonus. With 163, not great. Only as well 81 because he's finished once again. Excuse me. Lipovic also 86. So giving points here and there. Almidal 87 from part of the breakaway, I think, at some point, but he fell behind, which gives me a grand total of 451 points today. Which, considering I didn't have any real big guys from the breakaway or a stage winner, I guess I'll take ? How many points did you get in total? Just out of curiosity.
How many points did I get? Well, Remco got me 106 today.
Yep.
As my main GC guy. Milan gets me 30 for being in the green jersey as it stands. Aurelian Paripantra and Velasco were the other 2 riders I got in the break, but before that, Stroins got me 3, Pavel Bittner and Arnaud Delis got me 0, but to be honest, based on their performance yesterday, don't mind. They can do what they like for a couple of stages, for all I care. But my 2 other riders, Velasco got me 62 from the breakaway, and Paripantra got me 61, which gives me a grand total of 727 points, mostly because of that Lenny Martinez haul.
God damn. I mean,
and I'm a very happy man.
Lenny Martinez basically got the same amount as my entire team. Great.
Yep.
Alright.
And finally, this is a dub for me. So I'm going to celebrate it until the cows come home. But no, I'm looking at my team right now, and I am wondering whether some of these guys could be on the chopping block. Ooh. What does help, though, is that stage 11 is a sprint stage. Before we get to that, what do you give today out of 10? I think this is a quandary, because there's a lot that went on, but in the end, not much GC action. Yeah, the GC action. I think the final part, the GC part, definitely takes it down a notch. Like the attack and then totally like, no one really cares to ride. But the breakaway was really entertaining, the format of the breakaway, and just the breakaway itself with also Lenny Martinez. And the final part, Yates getting away. I'm really happy about that. I think, I think an 8 is like okay for me, like roughly an 8. Yeah, the breakaway battle was good for the stage win. I probably actually agree with you there. The battle at the start was super. The sort of will they, won't they bring this massive group back, and then they eventually let it out. Yep. And there was lots of tactics, lots of attacks going on. But yeah, in the end, if there was GC action, this stage could have been an all-timer. Oh yeah, but for sure. In the end, I think, maybe a 7.5 to an 8 for me. Yeah, sounds about right. Which moves us on to the next stage, which is after a rest day, of course. Everybody deserves a rest. Yes. Including the podcasters, because we have yapped. Working tirelessly, man. But we go from Toulouse to Toulouse. We start and finish in Toulouse, and I'm not going to use the same joke that I made in the preview pod. It's 156.8 kilometers. It's not long for a sprint stage, but there are a couple of climbs which may ward off the sprinters. We've got the Côte de Pêche David, 0.8 kilometers, 9.8%, and that comes less than 10 kilometers before the finish. Ooh. And before that, a 1.4 kilometer climb at 6.9%, which comes 15 kilometers from the finish. And it's very up and down, really, towards the end of the day. So this could be one for a potential breakaway, depending on how the sprinters' teams adapt. I think the sprinters' teams try and get it. Do you think it might be for someone who's not a pure-born sprinter, if the teams decide to set a really high pace in the final climb? Like, for example, a Mathieu Van Der Poel? If he maybe has better legs at the very end? Since they're going to pace like extremely hard. And then, the legs, maybe. Who knows? I think that is a super point. Surely, by this point in the race, the smaller teams have noticed that Tim Merlier and Jonathan Milan are not going to be competed with. Yes. So, this is word to all of the sprinters' teams. Feel free to put this together and clip this up. Instead of going, maybe, this is a crazy theory, and please, shout at me if I'm wrong here. Instead of pacing, perhaps, for Pascal Ackermann to come 9th to 12th on a sprint stage, let's put Guillaume Boivin, let's put Mathis Louvel in the breakaway. Uno X, are you listening? You've just lost one of your sprinters. Exactly. Of course, not fantastic. You've got Stian Fredheim there. Let me run through his sprint results so far this Tour de France. 29th, 29th, 10th, 9th. He's improving. Yes, but he's not competing. You know who would compete? Jonas Abrahamsson, Marcus Hulgaard, Magnus Cort Nielsen. Get them in the breakaway. Agreed. Everybody does this. Everybody works together. Get on the telephone to the other teams. Let them know your plan. and sell the plan to the other teams. And if everybody works together here, we can put Lidl and Quickstep in trouble.
Exactly.
It only took 2 riders the last sprint stage to get them on the ropes. But you guys bailed them out.
Come on.
Let's not do that again. Let's learn from our mistakes. Let's be good people. And let's
get a 30-man breakaway.
Advance as a human race.
Yes.
Which is why we're going to have 2 riders up the road tomorrow. And it's going to be Thomas Gachinard and it's going to be Oliver Narsson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One guy escapes. Lenny Martinez. And that's it.
For the KOM points.
Yeah, just goes solo all the way. And then it ends up in Milan, coming second once again. I've called it now. You know what's going to happen. Not actually in 2 days.
So you're going Milan?
No. I want to go.
Sorry, yeah, you're not going Milan.
Actually, I want to. No, I'm going Wout Van Aert. He got second on that one stage. This is the one. He's back, baby. He's back. He's back.
Can I ask?
No.
When? Okay, I will not ask. That defeats the purpose of a podcast where people are designed to speak. When did you get rid of Fred Wright?
That was the same. No, I still have him.
You still have him.
He's got
so
no
Fred
points.
Wright's not gonna win. Let me change my pick. No, I think this is a day for Fred Wright to go up the road. And in all honesty, Phil Bauhaus is super good at positioning himself and can do it on his own. He doesn't need a team to do that.
He doesn't need a team.
Bahrain,
one man.
You can leave Lenny Martinez for just this day. He's in virtual polka dots and he will wear the polka dot jersey as long as he stays on his bike. So you don't have to worry about him. Leave him for the mountain stages.
Mountain stage right after a big one as well. So chill out.
But get right. Maybe get Gradek up the road if they allow it.
Definitely get Lickmanson, Amiral, Lipowicz, Rickaert, and only also on the breakaway.
Yeah, let's throw Schroins in there as well, just for.
Let's go. Let's get.
You know what? Yeah. I know he's a sprinter. Let's get Pavel Bittner and Arnaud Delis in the move.
You know what? Vingegaard at this point. Get out there. Get out there.
Remco.
Yeah, Remco, you go.
Now's your time, sir.
Time trial.
Yes, there's a couple of massive mountain stages in the time trial, but you're gonna gain all your time in a sprint stage.
Just think of this as one massive time trial. 157 kilometers. Come on. Get out there.
You've got 83 flat. That's your job, man.
That's what you do. Get out there.
No, I'm gonna go Fred Wright.
Okay.
And you're gonna go for Wout Van Aert.
Yep.
So what that means is that Tim Merlier and Jonathan Milan will have their gazillionth battle for sprint stage honours. We'll see how it goes, actually. With all the mountain stages ahead, I can see the sprinters getting over it just because nobody will want to pace too hard over those final climbs and put the sprinters in danger. But for the sake of stage excitement, I'm hoping it does happen.
My second pick is going to be Kasper Asgreen attacking the final climb and going solo. Just saying that. That's happened before, and he likes a solo attack. So that's my second pick, just a heads up.
And that is a good pick indeed.
Oh yeah.
And for clarity purposes only, while we're recording this podcast, the sprinters have come in. And they have survived by a grand total of 5 minutes. So
congrats.
They make it. Everybody makes it. Nobody OTLs at the end of the day. All is well in the Tour de France peloton ahead of the rest day.
Oh yeah. And that's how we end this podcast on a happy note. Hopefully you enjoyed. If of course don't forget to subscribe and like and the 5-star, you know by now. Just do it. Just do it again. And we'll see you all, not tomorrow, but in 2 days with the next stage. Take care.